Hi there, March 20th, 2018. I keep looking up stuff like this because I know there's more around where I live. Uh, this is in Wisconsin, a little bit north of where I live. It's called Astha State Park, and there are these pyramid mounds surrounded by a stockade-like structure. Steps going up to the top of it, and these wooden poles around here. There's one layer and another layer here. This site is huge. This says it's a state park in the town of Astha, Jefferson County, designated a National Historic Landmark, the site of an ancient Mississippian culture settlement that flourished during the 10th to 13th centuries. The indigenous people constructed massive earthwork mounds for religious and political purposes. That's what they're saying, but of course we don't know what they did it for. Their trading network extended from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast and into the southeast of the present-day United States. This is the state of Wisconsin. This is where that's located right now. And here's the history that they're telling us, but we don't know how much of that is true, so I'm not going to read it right now. But they did find copper, which came from Michigan's upper peninsula, shells from the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, and stones such as Mill Creek chert from other areas of the Midwest. And here's a drawing which makes it a little bit difficult to see. That first mound that we saw is this one right here. This is another mound over here and down here. You drive in through here, and there's also these mounds over here on this hill. Much of this has been destroyed and was rebuilt because people didn't think it was any big deal, but then some people thought it was a big deal, so they reconstructed it. Now, one of the things that interests me is that around here is wooden posts that were stacked vertically, and then it says the walls were completed with a wattle and daub, a plaster mixture of grass and clay. The roof was covered with bark or thatch. The doorway, usually fenced, faced south to keep out the winter's north winds. But let me show you the wall. This is another site. It says posted by Ojibwa. Ancient America Angel Mounds. This is on the lower Ohio River. And where is it? The stockade was about 12 feet high and was constructed by setting wooden posts about 4 feet deep into a narrow trench. A loose weave of sticks helped tie the posts together, and then the structure was covered with a mud and grass plaster. About every 11 feet, a defensive bastion was constructed which projected about 12 feet out from the wall. From these bastions, the warriors, armed with bows and arrows and lances, could protect the walls from attack. The construction of the stockade is similar to the one at, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Cahokia. So this is a picture of what the wall would have looked like, not just posts. Come on. Okay. Okay, so that's not really much bigger. But some Europeans said, writing compared it to that of a castle. This is part of the mound that's at Angel Mounds. And here you can see it, but it doesn't, being at such a distance, it doesn't really look huge. The people who lived at Angel Mounds made their living by farming and by hunting. They lived. They didn't make a living. And then they have this picture, which nobody knows if the women were running around with their dresses like that. It should be kept in mind that rivers were highways at this time and canoes were vital for trade with communities. Here is another picture of the reconstructed walls at Angel Mounds. Oh, I thought that was going to make it bigger. Earth Lodge prototype. Sorry, my computer's acting weird. This is in North Dakota, though, not in Wisconsin. But this is the inside of an Earth Lodge. Let's look at this computer structure here and give proper credit here. Computer model data from Native American Architecture by Peter Nabokov and Robert Easton, Oxford University, 1989, and more particularly from the Hadassah Earth Lodge by Gilbert Wilson, illustrations by Frederick Wilson. Anthropological Papers of the American Museum of Natural History from 1934. Okay, so this is the Central Lodge, and these are apparently where daughters can live. This is before it's covered. So let's look at one that's covered. Here's a picture. Give credit. Reconstruction of Earth Lodge. So it looks like an Indian mound. It's covered with dirt. Let's see what else we have here. This picture is several of them. This looks like what goes on in my house a lot. A lot of my family, we have a big party and we all have a really good time. So just sitting around on top of their houses, listening to music. Painting of the Last Race by George Catlin. It looks like some of them are really exhausted here. That's what's going on. Here's a painting, Mandan People by Carl Bodmer, 1843. That's really have very dark skin. Okay, so let's take another look at the inside of the structure. Look at this. This is amazing ingenuity and teamwork for the roof. Earth Lodge Smoke Hole by Dennis Holloway, architect. Now, this is a site, and I can't figure out who it is that wrote it, but they're talking about the Mandans and the Mid-Taurays of the Upper Missouri constructed timber-framed houses. This is written kind of condescending. Some of the pictures are interesting. Here's one. This person says they ran across this village that was the people had abandoned it, or they all died out. Who knows what happened really. But here they go into a good description of how they're built. Really well built houses. So the link for that will be below. I found this painting by Lloyd Townsend, which doesn't look at all like that. Well, it looks somewhat, because it's got this tall wall around it, like the one here in Wisconsin, right next to a riverbank. But there's no Indian mounds that I can see on here. So that looks odd, and I don't know where it's drawn from or anything. But just thought I'd show that. Now this is another engraving that doesn't look... It looks just so bland, but it's the same kind of doorway. It says Native American village with fortified walls, engraving by Theodore Bree. But the link is here, and some of the pictures on here are pretty weird. Just drawings of fighting. So this is also on that site. Take it for what it is. Supposedly they're houses, and look at this structure over here. It says it's a diorama showing everyday life of Florida's first people. So I found this site, and I'm looking it up on here. And as I'm looking, you can click on these links, and some of it shows pictures, and they tell a little story of what's going on. This is just basically southern Wisconsin, where there's these mounds that are found. I'm just going to keep scrolling down here slowly. These are all really close to where I live. Mississippian Mounds, these are around the area, not necessarily Wisconsin, central Wisconsin. Southeastern Wisconsin. Northern Wisconsin, like Winnebago and vicinity. These are several on private property. This is the one that I showed you, is at Astha. Some of these are destroyed. Here, let's look at that link. And as I was looking at this, I got the incredible feeling of, oh my God, there were so many people here. So many people. So this is listed by county. Starting out with Adams County, Barron County, Burnett County. Now, I live in Rock County. So I'm moving down, and this is, look at all these structures that were built by people. Here's a picture of some of it. Oh, I've got a dry cough, hold on. I've had this cold for a week, and today starts my first day of vacation, and I'm still sick. But, so this talks about when this mound was destroyed. I'm sorry. More, we're going on further and further. Keep going down. Down, Dodge County. Now, like I said, I live in Rock County. Okay, and my time's going to run out on here shortly. Iowa County. This is just horrible. Look at all these places that people were, and then they're not there. Pierce County, Racine, Richland, Rock, and I'll just go all the way down to the bottom here. It's sad to me. Okay, so now I went back up here because this one looks like a person to me at that angle. Maybe I'm looking at it at the wrong angle, but it is saying in this article that some of these were preserved and remain. I'm going to include this link that you can read if you want. Wisconsin, however, was a special home of the picture of mound builders, and then they go on talking about that. There's no pictures on it, even though it says that there's pictures, but it's very interesting if you like this sort of stuff. I'm going to end it with a link to this. This is what I see a lot of in Wisconsin, these rock formations. This was my search, and it looks to me like old megalithic structures that have worn down, and so I am intensely curious about everything here in Wisconsin, along with a lot of other things that have happened to me in my life. I'm grateful for you, and I'm here at your service.